Okay. Now we're on the second stage, where your roux is a chocolate brown or a coffee color, and you're still moving your vegetables around. You want to get a good caramelization and cook on your vegetables in your roux so they don't taste like boiled soup vegetables. You want them to taste like they're being cooked. We're going to let that cook for a second and keep watching. All right. Now, at this point, basically, I don't want to burn my hair. Basically, if you're not sweating, you have not started cooking yet. All right. Back in here again, moving the vegetables. As you can see, they're darker. See if I can turn this light on here for you to see. Nope. Okay. Well, this is dark. This is as dark as you want it to get. You don't want it to be a light skin roux. It ain't nothing against light skins, but you don't want it to be a light skin roux. You need it to be melanated, chocolate, dark, brown. There you go. If you don't feel like watching Black Panther just from cooking this, you didn't cook it right. Period. There we go. Okay. Now this hard part, which is supposed to be the hardest part of a gumbo, is done. Okay? That's the part that's done. So now we're going to take the chicken that we got here, the juices from the chicken, and pour that into your roux. Okay? This is going to create your broth. Other people buy the broth, but you shouldn't have to buy the broth if you just cook the chicken. Come on now. Okay. So now you're going to mix that in. You're going to stir it around. Right now it's a lot of steam because the water's mixing with the oil and everything, so it'll mellow it out. It'll mellow out. There you go. So now you see we got us a nice thick chocolate roux that quick. All right. You don't have to go buy it in the container if you don't want to. You don't need to. Okay. Now, in the meantime, you want to start shredding your chicken. Your chicken is what you're going to start adding in. So you want to start shredding your chicken. This is the boiled chicken. You can shred it manually. You can shred it with a knife, a fork, you know, chop it up. It doesn't really matter because at this point, the chicken should be so soft like this, you don't have to do a whole lot to it. And once you start mixing it in, it'll just start to tear down by itself anyway. So I just chop it up like that. You can use your hands. It's up to you. But trust me, once you start doing so much turning and you know, mixing your gumbo, it'll start to do that. So you want to turn it down now to like a 3. And as you can see, it's thick now. It's like a thick consistency right now. So you can't see it right now because it's still on chicken. But in the meantime, you want to shred your chicken. It shouldn't take a whole lot of effort because you guys are seeing it right now. And the chicken is starting to shred. That's how you know you boiled it right. It should be the littlest of effort to shred it. If it's still chunky, that's fine. Trust me, it won't matter because you're going to end up having to do it some more anyway when you're mixing it in this pot. Alright. So now we have it in this pot. We're going back to the gumbo pot. There we go. Now you can see it. It's like a thick gravy. See how slow it moves? That's good. That means you have your gravy roux created. That's good. Alright. So now you add in your chicken. There you go. You can add in the chicken and start swirling that around too. In the meantime, you can add in more hot water because you're going to start needing this to get your boil going. So you want to start pouring water into your pot and mixing it periodically so it doesn't lump up. Just like that. Then go back to it. Go back to the sink. Add more water. You want your pot to be a third full when you're done. But I'd say like right now, you want to add in about a half a pan, and that's because you're going to need the space for your crabs and your shrimp and your sausage. See how the chicken's already breaking down? And the roux is still dark. That's why you have to make your roux a dark chocolate color, because so much water and vegetables and everything else is being added in after the fact that it can play a significant part in your gumbo being colorless. So we're about halfway full in the pot. Anything that's on the sides, you want to use that because that's still gravy. It'll help thicken the pot. So make sure you get the sides of the pot as well. You don't want nothing to build up, and then because if it builds up, it burns. So you don't want nothing to build up. You want to make sure the bottom of your pot stays clean. So you stay scraping the bottom of your pot to make sure nothing sticks. Then you let that come to a boil. Now at this point, you would boil some water. If you're doing the crab boil, you would boil your water and you would add the crab boil into your pan and into your boiling water, and then you add that pour that water into here. So like when you guys saw me take the pan of water and pour it in here, you would have been taking your pan of water, boiling it, letting the crab boil in there, and then pouring it in. Right? We don't need to do that because I have enough seafood and I don't want to use that. I like the actual texture of seafood. So the next step is getting a pot. Let's zoom out now because we're on a different step. That right there is just going to be cooking. Okay, so in the meantime, you want to be getting a pot right here. And you want to start adding in your sausages, and you want to cook your sausages. You want to cook your sausages and fry your sausages before they end up in here. Okay? Now, because I'm making a big pot of gumbo, I'm going to use the whole packet. So you can use a knife, or you can use scissors. I'm going to use cooking shears because it's a lot faster. Get through things a whole lot faster with cooking shears. All right. There's no precision cut, as you can see. So it's not a big deal. If you are making something where the cuts are a big deal, then yeah, that's a problem. Okay. So now we're doing the cuts. Turn your fire on. Boom. And you want to slice your sausages 1/4 of an inch thick. You definitely want them to be there. You don't want to cut them too thin, and then when you start frying them, they don't fry all the way. Another thing I'm going to tell you guys, when you start cooking these sausages, open your door. I already have my door open. Your door needs to be open because the chili powder and the chilies that's in here that's so strong, you'll be coughing throughout cooking this food. But for me, I'm used to it, so I know I'm going to be coughing, but I don't think I'll be coughing too bad. But this is just to give you an idea of how hot these chilies are. They don't have to be perfect, just a half an inch thick. So while your gumbo is still boiling, and I turn that on high now because we don't have to worry about heat. I've turned the gumbo on high. Okay. I'm sitting here thinking like, I should have music going right now. And if I was to pick a song for this right now, it would be, what's the name of that group? Migos. And they have this song called, dang it, what is it called? I can't remember, but it's got something to do with mixing and whipping it like, to whip it like a stir fry. Even though we're not cooking stir fry, we're making gumbo, but how you have to move your wrist around making this roux. You damn well minds pick up sales in another category. It's crazy. But it's definitely worth it regardless. And I haven't seasoned the roux yet, so I know you guys are like, okay, but she ain't even seasoned the roux yet. I haven't. There's a reason for that. Because when you start seasoning your roux too early, it makes it difficult to fry with when you start cooking it in your what's it called? When you start cooking your flour. So you want to wait till the last minute to start seasoning it. Plus, why would you season as you go in this particular meal when it's one whole thing? So you need to make sure your seasoning is consistent. This is my first video, so I don't know if I'm talking a lot, but if I am, oh well. You guys can always change the channel. It's an option. Okay. So I am still sweating, and I'm thinking about how I put on makeup for what? I don't know. I know you're like, damn, we still watching her chop these up. But at least you get an idea. Oh, that's the last one. That's the last one. So at least you get an idea of how this goes and how you're supposed to have them chopped and how you do want them to be a good thickness. There we go. All right. Wash my hands. So now you want to have your sausage frying. I put mine on high. The roux is still going. Okay. Now while those sausages are frying, we're going to come back to the roux. Okay. Back to the gumbo. Alright. We winning. Okay. Now we're in the seasoning part. Another thing that the gumbo, that the crab boil gives you is the ability to not have to worry about seasoning your food. So if you're a person that's concerned about seasoning while making a gumbo and you don't really know the flavors, that's okay. Because I have this stuff right here. So this one right here is, it's a smoked Cajun seasoning that I got from Winco. You can bag your own. Oh, snap. Oh. Like I said, this is going to get really hot. And you'll be coughing. Lord. Ooh. Jesus save us. Oh, snap. So I'm going to be sneezing and coughing and everything else because it gets real. It gets real when you're making gumbo. Okay. So this is the Cajun seasoning I'm talking about. Open up the bag so you can see what it looks like. It's good. Oops. It's got like chilies in it and stuff like that. And yeah, I know that you don't have to add a whole lot more chilies. You don't. But this is good for flavors. Okay. So you add, oh my God, this is so hot right now in this air. Oh my God. Oh, snap. So you guys, I'm going to tell you again, keep your doors open. My door's open. And I'm still, my eyes are burning. Real talk. My eyes are burning. Okay. So we're back on this. I didn't even get to add the stuff because it's so hot. Oh my God. Okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. It's going to be worth it. Okay. So now we're adding in the Cajun seasoning. It's smoked and it has liquid smoke inside of it. I tend to like the liquid smoke flavor. So if you want to stay away from the spiciness, after you've already made your roux, you can, or these sausages, you can just use liquid smoke. You do not, if you can't find Cajun seasoning, I'm going to tell you guys again. If you cannot find Cajun seasoning and you want that smoke flavor taste, you can use regular seasoned salt, Lawry seasoned salt, and liquid smoke. There you go. Okay. So, these are still cooking. This is what they look like. They create a lot of oil, and that's fine. You're going to need it. You're going to want it. Okay. The second thing we're adding into the gumbo is garlic powder mixed with onion powder. I mix it all together in a bag or a container, and that way I know the consistency of the garlic powder and the onion powder is good. I like a lot of garlic powder and onion powder because that's what makes a meal savory. You can't really get a real good meal without garlic powder and onion powder. Make sure you keep going back to your sausages. Don't forget them. And then go back to your roux. Well, actually, it's not even roux anymore. It's gumbo. It's starting to get gumbo-y now. So now, you want to make sure you keep mixing your gumbo. And I'm also sweating like crazy. Which is okay. So that's how you know we're cooking. You know, I wonder how they keep that down in cooking shows. I wonder if they only... You ever notice, like, when you watch cooking shows, they don't ever show you no hardcore cooking. It's always like, oh, a panini, you know? So that the person is still, like, presentable while they're making the meal. I get it now. Like, you're not going to see people making gumbo on the Food Network channel because the chef would be sweating like a pig. So I see why they avoid this now. I've learned. Okay.